Welcome back. When schools open this fall, we know that masks and social distancing will be part of the new norm. Individual districts will need to work out how students will attend, whether it's in person, online, or some combination of the two. We caught up with Chris Reykdal, who's Washington State School Superintendent, to find out what he's hearing from parents and what he expects.
This was a complicated time for them, and I think there was an incredible amount of grace and understanding that in the beginning of the virus, the governor didn't have all the information you love to have, and you always fall on the side of health and safety. And so it was a very broad closure, of course. And now we've learned a lot about that, and it can be a little differentiated based on the condition of the community. So that's why we're trying to create this opportunity to open. There is still uncertainty, though, because, as I said, some districts can't meet the physical distancing guidelines of health and still get everyone back. Which is why here we are, put our guidance out in very early June, because we wanted districts to have several months to work with their community on what's the plan and how do we provide childcare options and how do we partner with childcare providers or businesses and employers. So folks said, well, why don't you wait till August or September and tell them what the plan is? Well, they need those 2 or 3 months to really figure it out in their community. Right. The districts are under the guise of doing now. They are absolutely working now. Incredible speed to try to build a plan and work with their community to do that.
Well, and realistically, things could change during the fall, correct? I mean, if we do have this second wave with influenza, as we've discussed, whatever is set up in August, September might not work in October, November.
Yeah, so part of our guiding framework was that every district needed really 2 plans at least. What does your face-to-face in the best possible scenario look like? With safety protocols, and then what is your plan to either transition to remote learning on a temporary basis or perhaps even a long-term basis, depending on how it goes. So every district now is really working on 2 parallel plans.
Let's talk about the digital divide and equity in learning in distance, because some school districts are not as well funded. Some families don't have the kind of equipment that would allow them to have their kids Zoom and make appointments and all of that. What is the effort being made to kind of bring everybody along so we have probably not an equal chance, but at least a reasonable chance for all students to succeed?
Yeah, our legislature, in a very bipartisan way the last few years, has made huge ground closing that gap in state funding between districts. We've virtually eliminated that in terms of state resources. We still have some dependence on local levies. And that's where you get very big differences in districts' ability to buy technology and connectivity for families and students. And so we have tried to infuse some resources to districts to help. The federal CARES Act dollars are allowing districts to do that, and we've just released 80% of those dollars. The legislature put money at the end of session into a broadband approach, and so we're opening up hotspots in hundreds of communities around the state. It's not ideal. You got to get close to it for proximity, but at least it's connection. And then every district is thinking about how to prioritize students who don't have that kind of connection and access for next year. So if you're a district that can't accommodate everyone face-to-face, you're going to be in a hybrid model. What they're doing is figuring out who can't connect in those. Maybe those are the students who get an everyday opportunity at school because they just quite literally cannot with their education otherwise. That's that detailed planning that's happening right now.
I see. Okay. And the thing that I worry about as a parent, my child's grown, but just the social development aspect of this, the confusion, the fear for kids, the upset of their routine where they've been isolated from their friends, from their grandparents, and then, going to school, how do teachers deal with that? How are you kind of coping with the developmental, emotional stages of getting through this for children?
Couple different ways, and as a parent of a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old who went through this year, they were sophomore, 8th grader respectively. They had different experiences, the 2 of them. Again, same school districts, same teaching and learning model, same parents, same family, but they are different people and they did respond to it differently. And so it's a really powerful question. We've guided districts into an understanding that as part of their return to school, that they need really effective screeners, not just academic screeners to understand gaps that may have been created in learning, but they really need a social, emotional, mental health screeners. We have those tools here at OSP on our website. Those are broadly shared. Many of our districts are really good at this already, but they've historically thought about it as really a small subset of students where something has occurred or some identification's been made and they've been working with them. And now it's more about, universal screening. There may be a lot of students who were impacted by this who weren't on the radar beforehand. I will say, as a parallel note, I do get messages from students, and I meet with them at a distance quite a bit to understand their experience. There's a fair number of them who say this was awesome. Believe it or not, school wasn't a place for some of them where they felt they felt there was a lot of pressure there, and there was a lot of peer activity there that wasn't necessarily preferable experience for them. And for some of them who don't use school as that social connection, I say most do, but some, they said, great, I got my academics, I got my assignments, I wanted to work independently, and this kind of worked for me. So I'm always careful to say that this was a universal impact. I do think on balance it was really tough on kids. And yet others say this was okay, which brings me to innovation, right? We've challenged districts. There are students who really thrived in this. And rather than having to leave you and go to an alternative learning program somewhere else online, keep building out that opportunity for students in your own community. Have your face-to-face model, and maybe on a permanent basis, create some opportunities for more distance learning for students who really thrive in that. So we're innovating out of this, and we're getting better and stronger out of this. But we have to screen, and we really have to understand who is highly impacted by this, and our districts have that in their planning framework.
Such a challenge. Final question, what worries you the most, keeps you up at night, and what gives you the most hope?
I'll start with the worry, which is that's unknown, right? We keep describing this as tragic as an earthquake or a Mount St. Helens blowing up is. There's an end to that event, and then there's a recovery period, and you kind of can manage it. Snowstorms come and go, and we know we're closing down schools with 2 feet of snow and snow melt, right? There is no certainty of this. We know there's a long duration. We know scientists tell us it's quite a while for a vaccine. It's even longer for enough uptake in a vaccine to get that immunity in a broad way. And so it's the lack of knowing that makes it hard. So we've totally changed our mindset from like getting through an event to permanently thinking about how we provide learning for students in different modalities. And so that's the part that keeps me awake at night, is the challenge of that. What I am hopeful about is our educators and our families. Everyone recognized suddenly when we shut down how much bigger school is than just sending your kids there to learn some subjects. They realized, wow, that's where my kids go so I can work, right? Saving families tens of thousands of direct dollars in childcare because we have this place they go to, and they learn amazing content. And they also learn, I hope our young people did, I talked to a lot of them, Snapchat and Instagram and Twitter and social media tools are interesting and great. They had them like in 1919 pandemic, no one had those tools. They were totally isolated, so it was good. But kids go, it's different than being with my friends at school. Mm-hmm. So even our young people, I think, I'm hopeful, realized how powerful school is for human connection and how different it is when you share space with each other to learn as opposed to trying to do it over a screen. So I'm really hopeful that our young people learned a lot out of this and our systems learned how to innovate more effectively. So on balance, you know me, I got to push ahead with what's awesome and learn from it. Certainly learn from what didn't go well and make improvements, but we need to come out stronger and better out of this. It's going to take a while, but we're going to be there.
Up next, an eye-opening new study reveals the power of praise, how it affects behavior in the classroom and at home for that matter. We'll be right back.